Right, back for part 3 I think this is. As you can see, this has developed a lot more progress than last time you saw me building the engines. If you go check out part 1 and part 2, part 1 I built the front fuselage section here, and I built the engines. I had a bit of trouble with this because I lost the footage that I filmed to making it, which is a bit of a nightmare. The memory card was corrupt, and I lost it, so I can't show you building to this point. You haven't missed the right lot, to be fair, because it all fits really nicely together. So it is what it is. I can't reproduce that anymore. I also had another trouble where I painted it silver, put all the decals on, everything, and then when I put the lacquer on it destroyed all the paintwork. It reacted really badly with it. So I had to strip all the paint off, which took quite a bit of doing. But that's all in the past. So basically I've ordered I basically got some new masks from Revell, and I got a bunch of new decals as well. So we're back to where we started, if you like. So the next job, I'm going to do this colour scheme instead, because I don't want to go down that silver route again. I've got to be fair, the silver looked a bit boring. I thought it looked a bit dull. There was not much character to it really, so I'm going to do this one instead, which has got a bit of a challenging colour scheme on it to start with because of the yellow and the black stripes. So first thing I need to do is get the masks on to the canopy. Very easy to fit because there's just you've got internal masks, which I have taken off, but that doesn't matter now because they've been painted black inside. I just need to put external masks on again, and then masks around the cockpit. I just need to put these external, there's 3 on there, and they fit perfect. And I just need to mask the cockpit off, and then I can paint it and prime it. Now to prime it, the areas where there's basically a band here obviously, and then there's some bands here that are black and yellow. An ideal solution for that would be to have a pink under primer really, but I haven't got any pink, so I'll probably use white or silver. But both work quite well. That's if I choose to do them, because you don't have to do them, they're only put on at a certain point in its life. So you could do it without, but the nose has definitely got a yellow nose on it, so it's a camera plane. So I haven't decided yet, I'll think about it, so I'll be back when I've got the masks on. Right, I fitted the gear doors, the closed version. They just snap in place and you can take them off afterwards. The flaps themselves, they don't seem to fit very well, the closed versions. They're I don't know, they're weird. They don't seem to fit flush with the rest of the model, so I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use the open versions, so they just fit like that. So I can leave that open now, so that'll need painting. They need painting silver in here, and there's some actuation rods and stuff to go in there, but I can do that after. So I'll probably do the whole thing black first, and then I might mask off and do those silver inside. Again, this is the closed version of the nose gear. That fits in there quite well as well, so I can just use that as a mask as well. So we're all good to go now. I've masked off the canopy and that. So initially what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint it black, and then we'll see how we go from there. Right, there we go, I've painted it all black. That's just black Mr. Surfacer 1500, and I've done the same for the areas that's going to be yellow. I've done that in white Mr. Surfacer. So it's now ready to take the yellow. And what I'm going to do for the yellow, I'm just going to use Tamiya yellow actually. This is Tamiya lemon, which I think is a little bit, if you look at it's a little bit too lemony, if that makes sense. Oh no, it might be alright actually. Might give it a shot at that actually. So I'll give it a go with that. I'm going to do the nose, I'm going to add a bit of red to it. Tiny bit of red, because it's powerful stuff, is red. So I'm going to spray that yellow, let that dry, and then we'll mask it off and get the black down. It's just got 2 black stripes down the middle really. So that obviously the rest of the demarcation line of these will be created by the camo itself. There we go, that's the yellow down, just Tamiya acrylic, very nice, goes down lovely. So I'm going to let that dry for a bit, and then we'll mask off and do the black. Right, okay, working on these stripes, it gives you the dimensions of the whole thing and then the width of each one. The wings are relatively easy to do, but the one on the fuselage, with it being tapered obviously, You can't just put a band around because it just goes out of shape. So I'll do that next, but I'll just get this bit done. It's just basically a case of cutting some masks or some strips of tape that are 9.5mm wide, masking off the yellow parts and then painting the black lines. The wings are easy, so I'll get them done first and I'll be back to show you how to do the tail. Okay, whenever I cut a piece of tape for masking, I never use the edge that's off the roll because it can get damaged and fluffed up and stuff. It isn't always particularly nice cut, so what I tend to do, cut the ends off first actually. Cut those bits off, I don't want those. When everybody might do this, I'm just showing you how I do it. So make a nice edge first. Just lose a bit. So you get a nicer edge on that cut now. Now this is it's my wife's cutting mat for dressmaking. It's marked out in centimetres, so inches as well, but to be fair, I reckon 9.5mm isn't far off 10. So what I'm doing, I'm lining up this edge with that one. It's not far off in that. And these lines wouldn't be that accurate anyway because they'll have been painted, well they were painted on after. So we know that's 10cm, 10mm. I'm just going to go slightly inside the line. So that's near enough for me, is that? So I'm going to use that to mask out the wings. I'll just do them like that basically, so I'll be back when I've masked the wings off. Alright, wings are done at the front there, they're easy to do. This is more tricky. I'll zoom back out again. So what I've done, I've established where the line starts, which is at the join of the tail actually. You've got 9.5mm in that way, and these are spacer pieces. You can't put a piece of tape right round because it tapers, so it'll wander off, it won't follow a straight line. So what I tend to do, I then cut the tape into 2mm strips. So I'm just going to have to put my glasses on, can't see a thing. I'll try and show it on here. So you cut the tape into 2mm strips on the spacers, like that. And these will flex because it's thinner. So then you've got to just line up the tape with the spacer pieces, if that makes sense. Difficult to show on camera. So basically that then has to stretch onto there, like so. Start together. Again, I think being accurate with this is all very well, but in reality I don't think they would have been. And now you just take that spacer tab away. There's only two black lines on this, as it is with the wings. So that's the first black line, which is concentric all the way around now. So what I do now, I've cut another 2mm strip until it meets the 9.5mm strip that way, put spacers in again and then do it again. Does that make sense? So I'll get that finished. What you've got to do as well, when you put the joins up, where there's a line between the two pieces, you can get overspray between the gaps, so you have to overlay them with more tape just to make sure you don't get any overspray in the gap. Right, masked up, ready to go for the black. Now basically, it's quite simple. There's only 2 black lines you're painting. The rest of it, that demarcation line there is created by the camo, and this demarcation line is created by the camo as well. No, the one after that, underneath there. So you can leave all that tip yellow and then mask it off again when I do the camo part. Same for obviously both sides on the wings. It's the same on the fuselage. There's just 2 black lines, and then obviously that'll leave a load of yellow band in here, and I need to mask off that to create the camo side, and the same on this side. But I need to mask off all of the lot, the whole band if you like, the whole 47.5 millimeters with masking. So it's quite easy, it's just methodical in it really. So I'm going to get that painted, get those black stripes painted now, and then I can look at getting some masking down for the camo as well. Right, there we go, stripes. Gone really well actually. I just used black primer for that. Goes down really well on top of the old yellow tamiya. So yeah, it's done nicely. It's not any bleeds or anything, or yeah, I'm really happy with that. So obviously the other yellow stripe is created by the camo itself on these edges, so I'll have to remask that and then mask over the whole thing to create the banding. Right, there we go, all masked up, ready to go. I've decided I'm just going to basically give the top coat the dark grey that all the RAF aircraft are. So I'll start off with the dark grey, mask off that, do the green, mask off the whole thing, do the bottom. I'm just going to do it simple as that really. Right, grey's down, no issues at all with that. That's they've gone down really nice. So next on with the masking off for the green. I'm going to use I think the demarcation line on these things, I think if you go to a museum you might see them with a hard line, because they're easier to paint, aren't they? We can do them with a brush, but I think operationally they were probably slightly soft edged, so because they were sprayed. So I'm going to do them with the sausages. So I'll get that masked up and we'll get cracking with that. Right, masked up for the green. It's not difficult actually because it's quite a big model and the curves are quite gentle, so there's nothing much to it really. It took about, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. So I'll get the green down, I'll be back. Okay, I've hit a slight snag with these decals. They're not bad, they're good decals, I'm not knocking them. Problem is that you can't have it both ways, can you, with decals, because super thin decals are great because they conform to things really well. But it also makes them very transparent, and especially on the white areas. I did put them on the wing, and you could see the different colours through the white part and through the red part actually. So I've taken them off, I managed to get them off, because before they'd set, I put them back on the backing paper. I'm going to paint them on, because, not the rest of them, I'll just do these because they just look so bad. I could have shown them on camera, but on camera they looked fine because the contrast of the camera, the dynamic range in the camera can't capture the difference in shades, but to the naked eye they look really bad. So it isn't a problem anywhere else because they're not onto the markings, but these particular ones actually encroach onto these stripes. So I've got one of these cutters, so I'll just make myself some masks and do that. It's going to slow the job down a little bit, but hey, I've got plenty of time, it doesn't really matter. Right, cut some masks. Basically, the plan is put some transfer tape on, obviously, because if you peel them off, they'll just go flopping, you'll better position them. So put transfer tape on this big one, get that in the right place for the wing, paint, not all right up to this, because you end up with a white line if you do that. So basically paint most of the inside part of it white. When that's dry, you then place this piece on top of there like that. Obviously you'd have to measure it to get it in the right place. And then paint the blue. Take that away. And then use this one, again measuring it, on top of there, and paint the red. Easy peasy, isn't it? Just takes ages. That one's a bit short. I'll have to back it up with some more tape when I finish it. So as long as I get everything in the middle and that, it'll be okay. But it will take a bit of time because you got to paint each colour and let it dry, ain't you? So I'll be back when I've done it. Okay, I'm just working on the decals at the moment. There's one decal here that's not on here that doesn't have a number on it, which probably won't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but I'll explain what it's for. I'll throw up a picture that'll give it context. When Revell were developing this kit, they used an aircraft museum in Yorkshire called Elvington Aircraft Museum. I've been going there for quite a lot of time. I've been there since, well, not since it opened, but I've been going there since my son was 5 years old and is now 28, so I don't know if I go maybe once a year or something to have a look around. And I've got a Meteor in there that they're restoring at the moment, and if you look on the back of the tail, there's a label that says no Jaffa cakes left in this vehicle overnight. And as a nod to that museum's help, they created a decal specially for this. So I think it's only warranted that we put that decal on the tail. It's on the silver one, but I don't think it matters really, does it? So it's not scalar accurate or anything. But yeah, as I say, I'll show up a picture of what it really looks like in real life. Right, okay, decals are done. God, it took a long time to do that. There's a lot of them. The main big ones, not so, obviously they're not too bad. Painted on these ones, of course. But it's all these little tiny ones. Let's see if I can show some of them. There's every cover you can see there's got a label on it. And there's lots of them. I did most of them. I didn't do all of them. I've done all the ones on the top. I did some around the fuel tank and a few around here, but there's not many. You don't have to do them on the stripes because the stripes will have been put on in haste during a conflict. So I'll just paint it over most of them, and there's loads on this area as well, which is great, so I didn't have to do them. So I haven't missed many off the bottom, to be fair. So yeah, it's now ready to, it needs a coat of, I'm going to satin it, I'm going to satin varnish it all over first, just to seal all the decals in and everything. And then we can get on with some subtle weathering. I'm not sure, I'm not decided how I'm going to do that yet, but I can't find any actual, existing aircraft that aren't in museums. All the pictures you see are either restored aircraft or ones that have been abandoned in a field that just look battered anyway. So there's nothing active, active service aircraft that are in colour. So to see what they're like in reality is difficult, but I'll do my best. I'll have to make it up a bit if I can. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's all gone very well. It's just very time consuming on the decals, especially these blooming things. I think if I were going to do that again, I'd have done what a lot of people suggest, and that's just either put a white decal there first, or just paint a white circle and then stick the original decal over the top. But it was alright. So anyway, I'll be back when I've given it a coat of lacquer. Change of plans. I've decided to spray inside the air brakes silver first, and spray inside the nose and spray the nose tip. Now you can spray that white, but I find silver's quite good for under primer for yellow. So I'll do it silver at the same time. It saves having to put white on there, and white take a lot of covering actually. So I'll do it silver, and that'll work. So I'll be back when I've done that. Right. Painted inside the flaps, silver. I've done inside the nose as well. I've painted the nose silver first, and I painted it yellow. I did my best to match the colour. It's not far off. It's still a bit too yellow, but it's. I don't know. I can't tell until I put the decal on. Once the decal's on, I could respray that nose again with a slightly darker colour, but it's easier once the decal's in place. And what I've done, I've taped the nose in place because I want to better remove the nose, because I've got a camera to fit in the front of there yet, and I want to put the undercarriage obviously in there as well. So it's just taped on for now, so it's not a problem. So the next job is to get this decal fitted and see if it fits first. Excuse me. I have two pairs of these, so if I mess one up I can have another go at a different alternative. I don't want to mask and paint it, really don't, because it'd be very difficult. To be fair, it would be very difficult to do. So it has to work really, just a decal. Right, nose done. I'm really impressed with the decals on this. They fit beautifully. and they conform to the shape beautifully as well. I didn't get the colour of the nose correct to start with. It was too yellow, if you like, because it is orange, is this? It's not, well, it is a yellow in it, but it doesn't match the wings at all. It's not supposed to. So the decal is definitely orangier than this bit. So what I did, I ended up, because it was considerably yellower, I thought I'd put enough red in it, but I hadn't. So what I ended up doing was, I had two yellows, one with more red in it than the other, and I kept swapping it about a bit, and then mixing it with just dipping the brush in water and then just dunking it into neat paint, nothing, not thinned, and just brushing it in like this. And it looks weird because with it being acrylic, it shifts in colour as it dries. So you've got to keep experimenting with it. To spray it all the time would have driven me mad. It would have taken too long. So I just kept brush painting it, and then adding a bit more yellow into it to make it back to more yellow, if you like. And eventually, I think they've got just about nailed the colour. I think it's not far off. In some lights, the nose still looks a bit orange, but in this light, it looks bang on, I think. But I'm happy with that. I can't keep adding more paint onto it. So basically, what I was doing as well, I would recommend anybody get some of this stuff. It's fantastic, gauzy intermediate, made by AK. It's really useful stuff because it dries almost immediately. Within 5 minutes, it's dry enough to put anything you like on it. And with it being this stuff, when it dries matte, so you can't get the correct colour shift on it until it's glossy again. So I put some of that on, put the gauzy on it to make it shiny again, and you could assess where you were with the colour. This is just so useful. It's so good, really good. So I'm happy with that. And then this black bit is a decal. I've just trimmed through the decal there, so the nose will now come off if I want it to. So, and then obviously when the undercarriage door is yellow as well, so that needs painting, or orange should I say. Needs the glazing into these cameras. It's got another camera it's fitting in the front, which you can't see much of, but you will see the nose of it poking out a bit front. And then that bit needs preparing so I can put the glazing in there as well. But I don't need to do that just yet. Next job, that's just taped on in place at the moment. The next job is to paint the whole thing, or give it a whole coat of satin lacquer just to seal everything in. And then do a bit of subtle weathering. I'm not going to do too much to it because I can't, as I said before and earlier on, that you can't find any good, no, it's not wartime. I suppose the Suez crisis was, wasn't it? I don't know, but they weren't battered, if you like, these things. They were, I don't know, they'll have been well maintained. They won't have been really grimy. As I say, most of the pictures you see of these are either museum pieces or just abandoned somewhere and they look grotty and horrible. So I think this is not far off where I want it to be, really. I'll just put some subtle bits of, but we'll see how it goes. But as I say, needs a coat of lacquer on it now, satin, of which I will do next. Right, okay, satin varnish done. It's quite difficult to hold when you're painting it. This tape's just here because I put it on the bench a lot and it scratches the paint off the bottom. So yeah, it's all gone well. It's pretty good, to be fair. I'm quite happy with that. Looks all nice and uniform and smooth now. Managed to smudge the nose. I kind of fell off and I pushed it back on and it just kind of ended up smudging it. So it'll be right, I'll sort it out after. I've taken all the masking off now, that can come off from off the canapes and everything. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks pretty smart. Obviously that'll fit on afterwards. I'm not going to glue the canopy. Well, this nose is a removable item. I think they take it off quite a lot. I'm going to glue that on with some PVA or something. But as I say, the undercarriage assembly has to go in there first. So now I'm just going to let it dry for a bit because it's, as much as I can handle it a little bit, it's still a bit soft. So when it's dry and everything, I think I'm going to put the undercarriage on so I can actually put it down without having to put tape on it and everything. And then I'll get it finished off. It's getting there now. I'm not going to weather it anymore, I don't think. I might try and fill some of the obvious panel lines with some more black paint or something, just to kind of get them to stand out a little bit. And then I've already got a bit of scuffing around the canopy anyway, just by touching it. But yeah, I think it's alright as it is, really. Some models warrant being weathered to death, some don't. I don't think this one does. and I don't have the ability to kind of do it any better than this really. I'm not very good at, imagination is not just my strongest point. I tend to copy everything if I'm a copier. So if I can find a photograph that shows me an exact example of something how it should look, I can cope with that, but I can't make it up. So if I don't know, I won't do it, basically. So far, I'm really happy. I think it's a smart model, is this, a really nice kit. So I'll be back when I can touch it. Right, okay. It's not weathering as such, it's more of, I don't know, go look at a real aeroplane. You'll see what I mean. I'll try and explain what I think I mean. If you feel this surface here, that's my finger rubbing up and down it. And that's this side. That's what I call kind of shiny, squeaky clean. That noise you can hear now is the particles of whatever media you've sprayed at it causing drag on your finger. So it's kind of gritty. You can't see it. I mean, it's pretty good paint, is that really, to be fair. It's not bad at all. But that's how it should be. Now, if you look at these aircrafts, even the pictures I have seen of them, they're not matte, but they're not shiny, if you know what I mean. They kind of have a bit of everything. They vary. Parts of them are shiny and parts of them aren't. So I've got that. I've polished this side up here. And it's better to do it with semi-gloss because it does polish up quite well. You can get it as shiny as gloss if you want to, but it's made the surface what I consider to be more realistic than painted, if you like. Straight out the airbrush, you'll never ever get that. I don't care what you do with it. With the gloss you might, but it'll still have a grit to it. But I like doing this, and the decals, some of the little stencils and stuff, they weren't blended in very well. They were still proud of the surface. Now, to do this better, what I would do is put more lacquer on it, but I don't want to keep putting more and more lacquer on it. I think it's okay as it is. So what I'm doing, I'm just going over a model and doing this. I'm just polishing up selective areas of it, if you like. Now I think it looks kind of more realistic. It looks more like painted metal as opposed to painted plastic, if that makes any sense. I've rubbed through the grey a little bit on that nose that's brought through the black under primer, which I quite like actually. It looks alright, does that? So yeah, I'll just keep blanging on at doing that. The principle of it is, you don't wet your sandpaper. This is very worn Tamiya sanding pads. Don't wet it because you'll burn through the lacquer at the top straight away. You'll just go through it, and that's what happened there, really, to be fair. So I'll just tickle it, and all you're doing is taking the tops off the paint particles, if you like. In this case, lacquer. When you've done that, this is Tamiya. I'm using fine. I don't use the coarse one. It's a bit aggressive, really. Nice lint-free. Well, it doesn't have to be lint-free. It can be anything to be there. And just polish it back up. I quite like it. I quite like this look. I suppose it's an acquired taste. I don't know. But I think it suits this particular model. So when I've done it all, I'll be back. Right, polished up. Quite happy with that. It's nice colour. There's a light called Prue Blue. I've not seen many RAF aircraft done in this colour. I suppose it's a 50s thing, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's polished up enough, is that? It's just taking the edge off. It's not gloss, but it is a proper true satin, I think, is that. So it's how I remember Cold War jets to look when you saw them at air shows and stuff. Not that I ever saw one of these because I'm too young, believe it or not, to see one of these in an air show. So I've even polished the little pilot dude's helmet up again. Polished his little visor up. So, as I said, next job now is to get the undercarriage on it. Okay, the undercarriage legs are quite simple. They're very strong as well. Two halves, glue them together, clean them up, paint them silver. That's all you need to do with it, really. And they fit in a very good position. They just snap into that position there. And they just sit there like that. I've glued this one in with super glue just to make it nice and strong. So I'm fitting the rear ones first, and then obviously the front one's a little bit more complicated, so I'll get both rear ones fitted. Right, okay, now these are all parts for the front undercarriage leg. There's quite a lot of bits to it actually. The first thing you need to fit is this piece into there. It's all a bit tight fitting, and it's quite good tolerances on it, but it's a bit of a squeeze getting it in. So that bit goes there like that. I think that holds the gear doors open. I haven't done it yet, but I'll try and get that in place. I'll get that glued in place, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, these are the I'll just give you a quick zoom in. So that's the description of how to fit the undercarriage parts. So we need to fit this piece into there like that. Okay, needs a bit of a nudge to get it in. And then we have these frames that go on the sides. Got one. Oops. Do it off camera, but I'll give you the idea. Basically that one goes there. That one goes there respectively. So I'll get those glued in and I'll be back in a minute. It won't focus. Okay, the front leg you join it together, put the strut in the middle there like that. But this piece fits in that slot at the back, and then it kind of slots between these two holes, so you have to splay these two things apart. So it's probably better to, well I did anyway, I did it before the set, and then just get them pinned in there. Once it's all together it's quite good, it's quite a complicated arrangement. So that looks good. So there we go, that's the front undercarriage leg. There's still some more bits to go on though. There's this bar here that goes, trying to get the right way up, it goes there. Oops. And this seems to be there to hold some counterweights, which are these things. They're like metal, I think they're metal weights to obviously get the balance point right, get the centre of gravity right. And they're supposed to be made out of iron. I don't think you're going to see them very much with the nose on really, but I'll put them on anyway. So I'll get that glued on as well and I'll be back, but I can't put it down now till that sets. While I'm letting the front dry, I'm just fitting these struts here. There's a strut that goes across there, across to this leg here. They're alright to fit, they're not too bad, but they're like everything else when you start doing this sort of thing, they get a bit fiddly. And they do fit very well, so basically that fits. I'm trying to show it on camera but it's difficult. Fits into a little socket there. And lines up with a little groove on this side. I'll touch that in with a bit of silver paint. I'm going to glue that in with super glue just to make sure it sits in there right. But yeah, it's not too bad. Tyres, just painted the tyres rubber black, and you get like hubs and you just paint them silver each side. Obviously the brake drums on the inside, that's the brake drum side, so you just glue those in there. Okay, fitting the wheels will just pop into place between two pins, you don't have to glue them in really, so it's just a bit of a, just like that. I'll get those in. Right, cracking on with this now, it's nearly finished. All the undercarriage fitted, the actual front door, the yellow door fits to the undercarriage leg. I think the structure is really nicely done. It's oops, holding the gear doors there. It's a nice feature. It's a shame to hide it all really, but that's how it is. All the gear doors fit beautifully. I mean, you just put them in place, and there's a strut that holds this one in place here. Again, just fits perfect. There's proper locating tabs for them to fit on. Same for the flaps. As I say, I've only put them down because the closed version doesn't look very good. They don't seem to fit that well, to be fair, but these do. Glued all those on with super glue, everything, because they're just easier to do with super glue. So that's the undercarriage completed. I might put a bit of my panel iron in there yet, but you don't really need it. Got to fit the lights at the bottom. I need to paint in the lights at the tips. They are clear, these, but you just scratch the paint off and I could... they've got colour inside them, but I'll see how it goes. I haven't put the weights on the top of here because they would have fit if I wanted them to, but this fits kind of there like that. And you can't see anything in there really, so it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. So that can go on. I need to fit the camera in the nose and the clear lenses and everything, and then that can be glued on place. And once that's done, it's the canopy. And once we finish the canopy, it is completed. So I'm pleased with it. The actual polish is good because it fills in all the rivet detail and it shows it up quite nicely. So I'm going to leave that. I quite like it like that. So yeah, it's coming on nicely now. Lovely model to build, it really is. I'd happily build another one of these, but if I did another one I'd probably do it in flight. But I don't know what colour scheme I'd do because I'm not over keen on the Belgian one and the silver one's a bit boring, so I don't know. Anyway, we digress. So I'll move on to getting the canopy sorted, I think. Oh no, I'll get this finished off, get that put on, and then we'll go on to the canopy. Okay, the last part is this canopy. You get masks in the kit obviously, outside and inside, but I'm not going to bother with the inside because you can't see it that much. In fact, you can hardly see it at all, but there's this piece to go in there, which kind of fits there like that. It's going to be tricky to glue in because it mates straight onto that face there. And if you put extra thin in there, it'll just it'll ruin it. So I'll have to glue it in with something else. In fact, I might just glue it on that face there and then put some tape there because you can't see it when it's in, because there's like a gap underneath this canopy when it sits. There's like a step in it, and that will hold it quite happily, I think. So I just need to mask off the rest of this inside bit here, just on the outside of it. You don't actually, that's not a frame, it's just clear. It's a bit like if you look at Hawker Hunters, they're the same at the back. They don't have a frame to them, it's just like a lip that goes over the front, so it's clear as that front part. So I'll mask this off, get this painted, get that in there. I think we're nearly done. Okay, that's canopy painted up, and what I've done with that, as I suggested earlier, I just tape that in place because gluing that in, I just don't want to do it because it could mess it up. And it's fine anyway, because what I'm going to do now is, well, when I've finished fitting all the little twiddly bit of cockpits, clear. Oh, where's he gone? Bit of this stuff, just on the tiny little bits, and then just drop it on there, and I'll tape it in place until it sets, and that will be enough. It'll just sit there like that. You can't see it, it's on focus. So I'll be back when I've completely finished. Right, there we go, finished. First finished model of 2026 for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this model. It's a fantastic kit, it really is. It's anybody that thinks Revell are bad kits now, they're not. Trust me. They've stepped up the game considerably with this model. Obviously the older stuff, you can't get away from that. It's like any other manufacturer, some of the older kits aren't as good, but they certainly put an effort into this one, and I think this is one of the most enjoyable models I've built in a long time. The colour scheme does dictate. I'll just keep cleaning bits off it while I'm talking. That's polishing now. Yeah, depending on what colour scheme you choose, makes a considerable amount of time difference as to how you build it. I'll clean it up as I go along. If you do it silver, it's easy. It really is, because I mean the whole thing's just silver, which I did originally, as I mentioned before, but I messed it up with the lacquer. It just ruined it. But I'm glad I did it this colour because it's much more interesting to look at. In silver, it's typical of the aircraft, I suppose. But I suppose if you were talented at weathering and things and make it look, you could make it look a bit more characterful doing it that way. But I just prefer it camo. It looks nicer. I'm not sure I'd do the stripes again. I think it'd still look alright without the stripes on it. And that did add a lot of time, as did the decals. And if I didn't put the stripes on, the decals would have been fine as well. But hey ho, you learn to live and learn, don't you? And every model I build, if I've never built it before, I can look at it and think, well, I could have built that better now, and you could. There's certain things about this I wouldn't do differently. If I was doing the decals like this, I wouldn't have bothered painting the whole thing, and I'd have just put some white discs in there and then gone over the top. But hey, doesn't matter. And the nose, I don't know, the nose is really difficult to paint. I think I got away with it, it's alright. But having to blend the paint for the nose into the decal is really difficult. It takes a lot of messing about and practicing and experimentation. But again, it's part of the colour scheme, isn't it? I don't know if I'd have done that any different or not really. The only way I could think of doing that differently is to paint the whole thing yellow. But it would be really hard to mask. It's not an easy thing to do. I think it's something that people need to experiment with. But I don't have to worry about that, so I'm not going to do it again. So, what do I think of the kit in general? It's just a nice kit. I did, when I built the original engines, I did build both of them. Now, this is the engine. Very nice little model in itself. And I built them both, and I did put it in there to expose it, but I don't know, I don't really like aircraft with pilots sat in the seat like that. I think it looks daft with an engine exposed, and you can have the gun panel, it will come off. It fits really nicely, so it just fits on there snug. Just trying to pick it up without breaking anything. You just get a bit of blue tack on there and pull it off, and then you've got your gun. But there's not a lot to see in there, is there really? Even the real ones are very bland. There's nothing missing in there really. So I just prefer it covered up. So I decided to, just for simplicity's sake, I just covered it all up. So there's a beautifully painted engine in there. But hey ho. I could have had the cover just removable again, but I wanted to get on with it really. So anything wrong with it? No, not really. The only bit I found a bit odd, and I don't know if it's me, it could have been me when I built the wings, but as I say, I couldn't get the flaps. The closed flap positions don't seem to fit in there very well, or they don't seem to, I don't know, but I like them open anyway. I think they look really nice. You could have the air brakes open as well, but I didn't. That's because of the problems I had with the paint and everything, but there you go. Some things I haven't touched up yet. I need to touch up the engine. Yeah, they've still got overspray on them really, they should be silver. I'll do it at some point. Other than that, nothing wrong with this kit at all. Everything fits, it's just great. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's, you've got a lot of opportunity for different colour schemes as well. But I think the Belgian one would be quite interesting to do. But I think about the fluorescent, I'm not sure what colour that really is. But that would be different. The undercarriage is fantastic. It's really strong, super strong undercarriage. The gear doors fit on beautifully. All of them, they're all great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a lovely kit. They've been well thought out. Everything in it you could possibly need. The cockpit is extremely well detailed out of the box with all the PE and everything. You get the masks inside and out. What more do you need? It's great. And the presentation of the whole kit's fantastic. Well, even when you finish the kit and got bored with it and finished with it, you've still got this fantastic book to look at, which is a really nice addition. So there we go. One Gloster Meteor. That's I'm very happy with that. So I think it certainly re-sparked or rekindled my interest in 38 scale models. Sorry, 32nd scale. I find 24th a bit too big, and there's not that many of them anyway. So it's a good compromise, and you can get a lot of detail, and there's lots of opportunity to. You can see things better, can't you? It's just a nicer thing to look at, I think. So there we go. I love this little engine, it's great. Fantastic thing. I've already put pictures of that on when I built it, I think. I'll put links in the description of that part. I apologise for not showing the whole build, it's just as I say, the footage was lost, so there's nothing I can do about that. So there we go, I'll leave you with that, and still pictures to follow. I'll catch you on the next one. What that's going to be, I'm not quite sure yet. I think it might be an English Electric Lightning, the Airfix one that they just re-released. They want me to build one of those, so I'll be doing that. And then once I've done that, I'm planning on building the Qatar 32nd scale Brown Lane Spitfire, which I'm really looking forward to. So Thanks for watching, catch you later.